Hi, I'm Kyle, a tired therapist.
And I'm Jackie, also a tired therapist.
And together, we are
Two tired therapists.
Welcome to the pod.
If we do a John Benet Ramsey episode, that is going to be like, that's got to be at least 2 parts, if not 3 parts or 4 parts.
Are you kidding me? I think I've told you I had a professor at he worked the case. Did I tell you that?
No.
Yeah, he worked the case. It was a forensic.
What the fuck did he say about it?
It was a forensic psychology class.
What the fuck did he say about it?
He went through about 400 slides of pictures and everything that he did in the investigation.
Did you see the crime scene?
Yeah.
You see the body?
Yeah.
You see the whole body?
Fucked up.
You see the whole body?
Yes.
What did it look like? What'd she look like?
I mean, it was.
I've seen like pictures of
she
like
was
her
just
neck.
strangled. Yeah, it was just strangled.
But she was like.
But it was. I think what was more scary is when they moved her to the basement. Well, they moved her to the basement. We'll just say that. And that was the scariest
So he thinks
part.
the family did
she
it.
was like in the corner.
Yeah.
The brother.
Oh yeah, I think the brother did
yeah,
too.
Yeah, and the parents covered it up. So.
Well, did you see the CBS documentary from like, I don't know, well now it's probably like 5 to 7 years old. There was a documentary like that came out almost 10 years ago, and it was like examining new evidence, and like there was a flashlight on the counter, and like it had blood on it, but they didn't like give a shit about it, and it basically pointed to the brother, and the brother went to Purdue, and like I don't know, I don't think he lives here anymore, but at one point was living in Indiana, and like the family was pissed and they sued CBS. But I mean, like it was pretty fucking compelling, and I was like, I mean, I still think I think somebody in the family did it, but then after that I was like, it's the brother. I didn't know who did it before.
I mean, I think it was an accident.
Yeah, the whole thing was they think that he like struck her like trying to play or something, do something stupid, and the parents freaked out instead of calling 911 and like trying to actually like.
Yeah,
he was
they
like
covered it up.
He was like 7 or 8.
Yeah,
he was not that much older
than her.
The worst thing, he would have gone to juvie for like 5 years. He would never have like gone to prison for that.
Right.
That's crazy.
The parents were crazy.
The mom was
Cocoa Puffs.
But I feel bad because she got cancer and had a rough death.
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
She died?
Yeah, she's been dead for like 10 plus years. She got ovarian cancer and like,
oh my.
It was not.
Well,
I'm almost positive the dad is still alive. I'm almost positive. Yeah, I had to do it was a literature class, but we had to do like it was like a lit and law class, and we had to do a project, and my group chose John Benet Ramsey, and I had to do tons of shit, and I got pictures from the internet, but I didn't know if they were actually like of her dead body, so like I found
I could tell you.
She was like gray or blue pajamas or something like that. It was like light colored pajamas. No,
I don't. If I saw it, I could tell you. I don't remember. I think they were blue. Well.
Oh shit! I would have paid. Oh, I wouldn't have paid money, but.
Well, I mean, I did pay money because it was a class, but there you go.
Pay money for it.
Well, none of that's usable as our introduction, so there you go. Welcome to the pod.
Yes. So sorry. Justin's gonna edit out everything, so all you hear is welcome to the pod, and everyone's gonna be like, "What are you guys talking about?" It was John Benet Ramsey.
John Benet Ramsey. We were talking about John Benet Ramsey.
We are gonna do an episode on it.
Yeah.
I don't know how we're gonna do it, but
we'll figure it out. Well, welcome. It is April. I don't know.
Sure.
When is this coming out?
April.
Sure. Hopefully the world is still alive. Hopefully the apocalypse didn't happen.
Post-eclipse.
Hard to say.
Hopefully you didn't burn your retinas out doing that.
Right. Or maybe some of you did.
This would come out the day after the eclipse.
Oh, okay. Well, this will be very interesting.
Right? Yes.
Mm-hmm. Maybe I've ascended to Antichrist. Or I have superpowers. Stay tuned to the next episode to find out.
I just listened to a podcast where the host did it's such a good podcast, but it's so specific. But he was talking, and he did a confessions episode where people had to call in and give confessions, and he was like, "Welcome to the church," and it was so.
Oh my
funny.
God, we should do that. That'd be so
I thought
fun.
Justin was like, "Would you ever?" Justin's
like,
"Would you ever call an episode?" And I was like, I was like, I don't know if anybody would call us, and I don't want to get into like a weird gray area of like giving therapy and not giving therapy. I was like, but I would do a confession episode.
Well, and no one would call, and then I would like when I came my ass because no one called, and I'd be
if we
really
do,
sad.
well, I would love to do confessions where people could leave a voicemail, and then we could just listen to the voicemail, and then we could just react to it, like kind of like a Reddit reacts, but not
but real people.
Yes. This podcast is called Perfect Person for anybody who really wants to listen to it. It's an advice show, but this confession episode, the first one was a teacher who framed a child for manslaughter. It was hilarious.
Love it.
It was so funny. Anyways,
I love that.
but he was talking about the Church of the Perfect Person, and he was like, oh, now that's all. Anytime I like think about church, and I think about that in my head. Anyways, so sorry.
So sorry to get on a tangent. We don't usually do that here on this pod.
Never. We
stay on track.
We've never done that. That's never happened.
Never happened ever. TTT. What is tired?
Oh. I knew you were going to ask me first, and I
I can go first.
Oh, go ahead. Go first. I'm still thinking. I have a couple things.
So I'm going to go with, oh my gosh, my list. I'm so sorry. I had something really good, and then my list messed up.
So tired of Kyle's unprofessional.
I know, so sorry. Oh, okay. I remember what it was now. Okay. So this is another one of my Instagram reel algorithms, and that I'm very confused at why I get to these.
Oh, I love when
Remember
you talk about
these.
these.
About the floppy penis?
I do want to say that Kyle did post episode send me a video, and that was I felt like I got assaulted a little bit.
Was I lying?
No, you were not. I felt like I.
Well, this one, I've kind of talked to you about this one before in a roundabout way.
Uh-oh.
And it's people who do their daily waters. Have you seen this? Have you seen this? So people, they're making their daily water, but they have about 9 million flavoring packets. And they're like, I'm going to make strawberry lemonade. So I'm going to take Starburst strawberry and Welch's grape juice lemonade flavor.
No.
And it's like... They've got their gigantic Stanleys.
You did send me a video about this because I was like,
because remember, I was like, this person has 5,000 likes on this fucking water video. Mm-hmm. And I think it's obnoxious. I think we are more important than a fucking water video. Oh, yeah. And there's one that comes up. There's like 3 of them that come up regularly. One's this guy, and he's like, let's make my water of the day. And it makes me want to die.
What's your take on water? You like plain water?
Gay.
Sure, I can buy into that. But like, do you like plain water? I mean, is it like, are you bothered by unflavored water? Like, what's your
I love
I
love water.
Okay, same. People are like
room temp water is.
I could do room temp, but I love like super cold water.
No, I don't. Okay.
Well, I don't.
No, love water.
But like, I see people do flavor packets, and I'm like, that's a lot.
It's too much. Yeah.
Like, I like the taste of just water. Yeah, I'm fine with it. I get that people have they don't like it, but it's so weird.
I'll get like the little like sparkling waters, like the little ice things. Like,
oh yeah.
But I would rather just have water.
Just same.
Water. So yeah, people with their water on the day. It's so. I mean, and they're going all out.
Thing.
There's another one who they like mix it in a separate water thing, and they take one of those like electric mixers, the like little tiny one, like the frothers.
Yeah.
Why? It's fucking water.
Are they trying to electrolyze the water?
I don't know.
Do something?
Aerate it. Yeah. Let it breathe. I know. So I'm tired of that. I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair they're famous and we're not, because that's part of it.
Please help us get famous.
The
fuck.
So that's what I'm tired of.
I mean, I would make this a full. You've said
Don't
it
you
too,
think we have more interesting things to say than I'm doing my Starburst strawberry?
Oh my god! You mix this packet with this packet. Oh my god! Yeah, I cannot. I don't know. I see sometimes I see things and I'm like, I'm surprised this is, but I guess it's so simple. I don't know. Maybe we need to be more simple. I don't know.
No.
No.
Moving on.
Can't do that. Well.
I'm a complex creature.
I do have something I'm tired of that I just thought of, but that happened to me recently this week. I'm really tired of, when shit falls in between your car seat and like the console. I'm so tired of that.
Yes. And it happens at the most inopportune. It happens when you're driving.
Yes.
It's never when you're parked.
Or you're like trying to exit the car and like you're grabbing stuff and then like your phone or your key. Oh my God, I'm so tired. Oh my God, it happened to me the other day and I was like, I cannot.
That happened to me this week too. I needed a little pick me up and I had to get gas. So I went to the gas station and I got a Twix bar, which I don't normally get candy. I don't know what I did. I went to put it down, threw it across the car, ended up in the back seat on the passenger side, and I was like,
oh my God.
That's fine. I didn't need it.
I know. And then there's things that you can buy that are like seat stuffers that are like make a.
Oh yeah.
You can't. But even
still, stuff finds its way into that little crevice.
Yeah. It happens. I hate it. I'm tired of it.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a great segue.
Oh, I love it.
Into our topic today.
Triggered.
going back to, talking about diagnoses and things,
Yes.
we haven't talked about our girl anxiety.
I know.
Which I thought was...
No one's demanded it.
No one's demanded it. And I know some of you anxious girlies out there want to know. Oh, I was going to ask, are you an anxious girly?
Oh, yeah.
Are you?
Yes.
See,
I love that you don't think I am. Love that for me.
That's hilarious. Well, I'm not, but there are certain things that when it does make me anxious, I am like so far gone.
Yeah.
So far gone. Well, I love that. Well, this is speaking to you today.
It is.
We're talking to you. So I figured we would talk a little bit about what even is anxiety. I think some people will say like, oh, anxiety or stress, what's the difference? We'll talk about that. We'll talk a couple of the diagnoses from the good old DSM.
DSM.
We'll talk about all of them. And then, of course, because this is such an educational pod, we will talk about treatments.
Yes.
And then I have a fun, I don't know, it might be lame. Maybe it's lame. But it's gay or straight.
Okay.
That has nothing to do with anxiety.
Perfect.
Whatsoever.
I love it.
So... what is anxiety? Tell us about it. What do you think it is? How would you define it, Jackie?
Well, there's so many different types, but I guess if you're talking like just like general anxiety, so it's like the best way I can describe it is like you just have a general feeling like something's gonna go wrong, or like that, like you worry a lot. Like those are the two, but like you're worrying about stuff that like doesn't necessarily make sense sometimes. Like you're worried, like I don't know, like for me it's like I could worry about really anything. People who have anxiety tend to overthink also. There's a lot of planning and strategic things that we do and don't do because you don't want to deal with stuff. So yeah, I mean anxiety is just like a general worry and or like I don't know, that's how I would describe it. A feeling that something's going to go wrong at any given point.
Yes. I always tell people with anxiety, the first thing is that everyone has anxiety.
Yes. Yeah.
Because anxiety is our built-in response to stress.
Yes.
And so we need anxiety to, let's say, for example, like at work. If you didn't have anxiety at work, you would be like, oh, well, who cares? I don't need to do my job. And then you get fired.
Right.
But what happens is we develop this overdrive with anxiety, and we're trying to control everything, and we want to know everything, right? We want that certainty or perfectionism and planning, and so that's where it gets into more the disorder part of anxiety. But we all have anxiety, and we need it.
Yeah, it's good because it sometimes anxiety helps you when you're under pressure in certain situations. It's not bad. It's not always a negative thing.
Right. Well, it's like if you're in a dark alley and someone starts chasing you, you don't be
want that. You want that adrenaline.
What's the tea? What's going on? You want
and you're like, what's the tea?
Yeah. You want that anxiety. You're like, oh shit. Yeah. We gotta go. We gotta get out of here.
Unless you're Bella Swan and you just stumble your way through.
Triggered. My anxiety.
I know. Anyways.
So anxiety can be physical. There's physical symptoms of anxiety. But then there's also, I guess you could say, mental symptoms of like overthinking and not being able to stop. So we'll talk a little bit about that.
Yes.
So here are the anxiety disorders in the good old DSM. So
Lord, there's a lot, I think. Right?
There's several. Separation anxiety disorder.
Sure.
Selective mutism. We won't talk about those because those are for kids, and who gives a shit. Specific phobias fall under the anxiety category.
Yes, they do.
Social anxiety or social phobia, which we will talk about that one because people throw that one around.
Oh, thank God you said that, because I was about to be like, that's probably my least favorite one that I think of all the people that I've seen that have told me they have social anxiety, I think maybe one actually legitimately had it. Anyways, go on.
We'll talk about panic disorder or panic attacks.
Yes. Yep.
Agoraphobia.
Also, I hope you actually define what a panic attack is, because there's so many children who are like, I have a panic attack.
Yeah. Oh, don't you worry.
Okay, great.
Generalized anxiety disorder. And then a substance medication-induced anxiety disorder or anxiety disorder due to another medical condition. So I'm not going to talk about all of them, but those are the ones in the good old DSM. So I think the first one we'll talk about is a specific phobia.
Okay.
So this is when you have significant fear or anxiety about a specific object or a situation. You're like, what?
I'm thinking of, remember the Maury episodes where it was like, I'm afraid of pickles or I'm afraid of cotton balls. So I'm so sorry. I'm not laughing at people who have phobias, but like, that's what I'm thinking of, like the Jerry Springer show that they would do that. Oh my God. Yeah. Where it was like,
and then
they bring out a jar of
the pickles. Yeah.
And the lady would scream. And she'd scream and run off.
Do you think that was real? I don't think so. I'm going to go with no.
I think no, I don't think it was real, but I do think there are people out there who probably have similarly, I don't want to say lame, similarly not as scary phobias.
I don't know. I've never seen it. Well, so
I've never seen it either, but go on.
We'll talk. There are specifics that the DSM talks about. So there's that specific object or situation that you're scared, and it's not like, oh, I'm so scared of that snake. It's like running away.
No, like you see the snake and you cry, scream,
right,
and
you're gone.
You roll down a hill trying to get away with it.
Right.
Yeah.
And the object or situation almost always provokes that response. So it's not like sometimes.
Yes.
There's a tendency to then avoid that thing, whatever it is. And the reaction is out of proportion to the actual threat. So like seeing a snake, not a big deal.
Yes.
Like if it's just like over there or a picture of the snake. It has to be persistent, and the DSM says 6 months or more. Now you have to specify, is it animal? Is it the natural environment, so like storms or heights?
Oh, okay.
Then blood injection injury, specifically blood, injections or transfusions, other medical care, or injury. Okay. Which I'm like, what would be your phobia? Like, oh my God, I'm going to break my arm. Like that?
All I can think of is like, okay, for me, if you and I were hanging out and you cut your arm and you were bleeding everywhere, I would be fine. No problem. If we're hanging out and I cut my arm and I'm bleeding everywhere, I'm not fine. But it's not blood, it's me. Like if something happens to me, I'm a hot mess.
So injury.
But something happens to like anybody else. Like, okay, injury, I guess I'm thinking of.
Maybe that's what that is.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess.
I don't know. Mm-hmm.
Maybe they are afraid of hurting them. I don't know. That's interesting.
And then situational, which is like airplanes, elevators, and then other, which I guess would be like
everything else.
Pickles,
cotton balls.
And I guess something I didn't think of is you can have more than one. You can have more than one specific phobia. I just never thought about that. Now, I would argue that a specific phobia is really rooted in probably trauma.
Yeah.
And that there's probably one instance that happened that has triggered it.
Yeah, you're going to be hard pressed to find somebody that has a phobia that there's not, you can't trace it back to some specific incident, whether that's like on purpose or not, but.
And again, you have to think like if there were a tarantula crawling on this table right now, we would probably be like, oh my gosh. But we wouldn't, well, maybe you would, but I wouldn't run screaming from the room. But like that natural kind of like, oh my gosh, there's that big tarantula, I should be careful. That's like normal.
Yeah. No, I don't like
because
spiders.
You don't want to be like, oh my gosh, a tarantula and grab it. That wouldn't be okay. Yeah, I don't like spiders either. Right.
Come.
Right. So it's this like out of proportion, like it's just there. It's just chilling. Like it's not doing anything. If it was up in your face trying to attack you, then having that fear response, that would not be a phobia. That would be normal.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So phobia. So write in with your weird phobia. Let us know. Let us know what you got going on. Scared of pickles? You scared of?
Oh my God! I just remember the pickle one because it was like
because they brought out. Let's bring out the jar of pickles.
Oh, I'm so sorry. It was olives.
Oh, was it olives?
Yeah. There's a video that's called "Bring Out the Olives" on YouTube, and it's just this lady reacting to olives. We're gonna watch it on the break. It's fine. It's from the year 2000. Oh my God.
Oh God. Let's not talk about that.
Anyways.
So let's talk about social anxiety disorder because it's also known as a social phobia.
Yes.
And so this is when you have fear or anxiety around possible scrutiny in social situations. So not about the social situation itself, but about the scrutiny that someone is going to criticize you, that you're going to act in a way that your anxiety will show and people will see it and they will think negatively of you.
Yes.
This isn't like, oh, I'm scared of crowds.
No, I don't want to hear. I met some people who were like, I'm so scared of talking to public.
No.
And I'm like, that's not the same thing.
Right. Or I'm shy. I'm so shy. I just don't know how to talk to people. no.
Girl, get out of here.
Get out, girl, bye. So it's more of that criticism. It's that, well, I'm going to talk to this person and they're going to think I'm the biggest flop ever.
Yeah.
Like, it's that.
Yes.
Those situations almost always provoke that response. And so you avoid the situation. So if you're like, oh, I'm scared of crowds, but I'm going to go and have a good time. There, like, in social anxiety, there isn't any of that. You're like, nope, not doing crowds, not talking to people.
Yes.
And what people don't get is this is even with people you feel comfortable around.
Yeah.
Like some people are like, well, I'm good with my friends, but if it's a stranger, I'm nervous. Right. That's normal.
Right.
Because you don't know what a stranger is going to do. But if it's like your friend who you've known for 10 years and you're like, I think they're going to call me a flop.
Then it's a problem.
Anxiety.
Yeah.
The response, again, out of proportion to the actual danger. Even if someone did call you a flop, you're not going to die. It's okay. Again, persistence, 6 or more months. And you do have to specify if it is performance related, like public speaking. So again, everyone can get anxious before public speaking, but if you're like throwing up and having like a panic attack, a real panic attack, which we'll talk about in a minute, that's maybe social anxiety. Mm-hmm. Is your anxiety, is it social or
no, I could care less. I mean, I worry about like, when everybody has the worry of like when you say something stupid, you're like, oh, damn it.
Right.
But mine's not like, no, I just have like a generalized anxiety.
Just a generalized anxiety.
Yeah, generalized anxiety. I'm fine. Yeah.
So then let's talk about panic attacks. So
talking to people about panic attacks was the worst thing I hated doing when I did intakes because it was like people were like, I have a panic attack, and I'm like, describe it, and they're like, well, I got so upset I cried. Oh. And I'm like,
right.
I'm gonna be the horrible person that tells you that's not a panic attack.
Not a panic attack.
That's not a panic attack.
Or they're like, well, I had an anxiety attack, but not a panic attack.
There's no such thing.
There's no such thing. That doesn't exist. I'm so sorry.
You can get
anxiety.
You can get so overwhelmed with anxiety you need to take a second, but there's no such thing as an anxiety attack. It's like it's one of my that's one of my other pet peeves. I hate it, and
I know.
It's like nervous breakdown. There's no such thing as a nervous breakdown. What the fuck does that even mean? You're so nervous you had a breakdown? I don't get it. Like it doesn't work.
Yes, it doesn't work. So there is a panic disorder.
Yes.
However, I'm not clear exactly how you get that. I think if you have no other diagnosis, so if like you don't have depression, you don't have a history of depression, you don't have a history of anxiety, like there's nothing else there, you would get panic disorder. Otherwise, it's anxiety with panic attacks or depression with panic attacks. So an abrupt surge of intense fear or intense discomfort that reaches peak within minutes. Is the definition.
Yeah, it's fast.
And it must have 4 of the following symptoms: palpitations, pounding heart, or accelerated heart rate, sweating, trembling or shaking, sensations of shortness of breath or smothering. Feelings of choking, chest pain or discomfort, nausea or abdominal stress, feeling dizzy, unsteady, lightheaded, or faint, chills or heat sensations, paresthesia, which is numbness, tingling sensations, typically in your fingers or your toes, derealization, so feeling like life isn't real around you, or depersonalization, so out-of-body experiences. There's a fear of losing control or going crazy, and a fear of dying.
Yeah.
So you have to have 4 of those to be considered a panic attack. I think the ones that I see the most are the heart rate, the shaking. I had
a lot of people who tell me like they felt like they were like they couldn't breathe and they were gonna die because they couldn't breathe. I don't think I've ever had one that says that like where they were choking, not chest pain, but heavy. Like
heavy
chest.
Chest. The lightheaded, not the sensations, not the numbness. Some derealization, some depersonalization. Definitely the going crazy and the dying part.
Yeah.
And then there's a persistent concern that you're gonna have another panic attack.
Yes.
And you change your behavior so that you don't have a panic attack, so you avoid, grocery store. Now, in my humble experience, what I've noticed is that people will get like really overwhelmed and have a panic attack, but then subsequent panic attacks, or most subsequent panic attacks, are because they're worried they're going to have another panic attack. And they essentially work themselves up to have one.
Into another panic attack.
because it's
confusing.
Kind of like
yeah.
with the phobia, it's like, you know, if at first they were like, well, I first noticed that like I couldn't breathe. And so then all of a sudden they get a little anxious and they can't catch their breath and they're like, oh my gosh, am I going to have a panic attack? Oh my gosh. And this is going to be the last time. And oh my gosh, they're going to call the ambulance again. And everyone's going to think I'm stupid. And everyone's going to be an idiot. And
everybody will see me. Oh my God. Oh my God.
And then you have a panic attack. Because I think some people will be like, well, I had one panic attack, but now it just like randomly happens.
Yeah.
And it's not. It's just because you get worked up into having one.
Mm-hmm.
So, so we'll skip agoraphobia. Generalized anxiety disorder.
Sure.
So this is what I think most people are going to
Yeah.
have. And it's an excessive anxiety and worry that occurs more days than not for at least 6 months about a number of events or activities. So this is what you were saying earlier. Like you're worrying about a lot of things. And this isn't like, oh my gosh, I can't pay for my mortgage or my wife cheated on me. Or this is like, did I leave the stove on?
Yeah.
Am I doing okay at work?
If I drive to work, is the car going to hit me? Like it's not, it's not specific to like one thing.
Right. Hence the generalized part. There's a difficulty in controlling that. So it's not like you can be like, oh my gosh, what about this thing? And then be like, you know what? I don't want to worry about that right now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Three or more of the following symptoms: restlessness, feeling keyed up or on edge, fatigue, difficulty concentrating, mind going blank, irritability, muscle tension, and sleep issues.
Oh, yeah. The irritability is...
Yeah. That's the one always. It's so funny when, like, I'll be talking about this with people, and they'll kind of be like, well, I guess I don't really know what anxiety is. And so we'll be talking about it, and then I'll say, and a lot of people can be, like, really irritable, like, can snap for no reason. They'll be like, oh, yeah, that one.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
And part of that is because it takes energy for you to be anxious. People don't think about this. Like, it takes mental energy, just like you were going to do anything else. And so then when, like, I don't know, your partner comes to you asking a question, like, your brain is tapped out on energy because you've been using it all to be anxious. And so the irritability is like, no more, we're shut down. Like, the factory is closed.
Yeah.
So that's the big thing with the irritability. The fatigue, same thing. Like, there's lots of energy that you're using to be anxious.
Yes.
So those are the big ones I wanted to talk about because I feel like those are the ones probably people experience the most.
Right.
Minus the kid ones, but I don't know. I don't know anything about that. Don't know her. Kids. Don't know her.
Couldn't be me.
Couldn't be me. So why don't we take a break?
Sure.
And then we can talk about treatments.
Yes.
And we'll do our gay or straight.
Yes. We'll be right back.
Are we just running this whole show now? It's just us. Well, welcome back.
We're back.
We're producerless. He's abandoned us.
So it's our show now.
So this is our show now, bitch. I think it was before. Hard to say.
Hard to say. It is hard to say.
We are full of vigor after watching Maury clips of people scared of cotton balls,
aluminum foil, birds,
lizards.
Green olives. Yeah.
Bring out the olives.
Which the common thread, as we said, trauma. There was some type of trauma.
There is trauma.
Because we didn't get the trauma for the tinfoil one, but that's fine.
It's got to be something.
Probably. Interesting.
I
can understand the texture and the sound can be.
Yeah, but you're not running. That. Are you running?
No.
No. A lot of running. So let's talk about treatments. What do we do? What do we do with the anxiety? You're probably like, I would love to hear it.
Well, damn. It's the reads today. No, I know there's so many. I know CBT is a big one with anxiety.
Of course,
huge one. I know ACT is also a pretty big one.
Yeah.
Depending on your phobia, exposure therapy is another kind of one.
Yes.
Although you have to be, that one's kind of tricky, I guess. I don't know. It can be.
It doesn't look how it used to be.
Exposure, it's not like I'm gonna bring you a jar of green olives to your face, which is what these poor people in Amari endured, but like it's more of like, think about like going to the store and like it's not like we're gonna immediately expose you to it. I know that too. Those are the big ones that I can think of.
So I split it up between some of the different, like, the diagnoses. So with general anxiety, a big thing is mindfulness training.
Yeah.
So just being aware,
Mhm.
kind of letting the sensation be, not
Yes.
getting all wrapped up in it and into the thoughts and being like, oh my God, I am going to die. Simple deep breathing exercises. Breath is one of the ways that our body gauges if we're stressed or not.
Mm-hmm.
And so typically when you're stressed, you breathe shallow or you hold your breath or hyperventilate. So elongating your breaths, taking deep breaths helps to tell your brain we're calm. Grounding exercises. My favorite is called the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 technique, which is where you do 5 things you see, 4 things you hear, or 4, here. Is it here? I always forget the order. I give people
Couldn't you
handout.
mix up the order, I guess, if you
I
wanted
guess
to?
You could, but it uses your senses. So it's like 4 things you hear, 3 like body sensations, 2 tastes, and a smell or something like that.
Yeah.
But it helps pull you in the moment so you're not just like thinking in all your thoughts. And And then you mentioned CBT, so managing your thoughts, your self-talk around your cognitions, and am I catastrophizing? Am I doing black or white thinking? Thinking of your illogical thinking patterns. Now, for phobias, we were talking about a little bit off air, because and I think it is, a phobia is rooted in a specific trauma.
Yeah.
Then doing something like EMDR.
Yeah.
Or ART, accelerated resolution therapy, which is like a new form of EMDR, basically, can take care of that. I was telling Jackie, because I'm trained in ART, I'm like, I could take care of that shit in an hour. Would be done.
You'd be cured.
You'd
goodbye.
Have no more phobias.
Yeah.
Goodbye. Thank you. Here's $200.
Yeah.
Thanks so much. But we were also talking about exposure therapy, which, it's not like it is like, here's a jar of olives, like, good luck, bitch. Like, get used to it. Like, it's more teaching you all of those, like, deep breathing, the mindfulness, and then slowly, like, here's a picture of olives, or I think it actually starts with, like, think about olives, and then here's a picture, and then, like, here's 1 olive, and here's 10, like, stuff like that. With the social anxiety, it's going to be very similar to generalized anxiety. There's going to be mindfulness, deep breathing, but you may do more like interpersonal training, just kind of interpersonal skills, as well as some self-esteem work. Sometimes social anxiety is rooted in your self-esteem.
Yes.
Again, may also be rooted in a specific trauma, so working with that. With panic, again, mindfulness, deep breathing, but it's also going to be recognizing what triggers the panic attack. So is it being too tuned into your body and like, oh, there's my heart skipping a beat, now I'm going to have a panic attack. And then managing those cognitions or those self-talk symptoms. And like we talked about, the subsequent panic attacks tend to be from a fear of having a panic attack. So any coping skills you like to use, or anything I didn't mention?
I'm trying to think. No. I mean, breathing's the one that I do probably the most.
It's the best.
I mean, I think everybody does this to a degree in some way, shape, or form. Me as a person who hates going on a plane, I'm like, but I have to like do my square breathing. We gotta
do some ART the next time you gotta go on a plane.
Oh my God,
it'll change your life. I'm serious. You don't have to tell me what
is it? I mean, I guess, is it like a? It's not like. Is it
it's
like
kind of like EMDR? It's like EMDR's cousin, but it relies on like eye movements.
Okay.
It's like helps you reprocess, takes out the negative sensations, and still some positive ones. We'll do it sometime.
Oh my
it's
God,
ethical for me to do it with you because you don't have to tell me what you're doing.
Oh, like you don't have to like say like what you're you don't like
Nope.
the person wouldn't have to tell you like I'm afraid of.
Maybe we should do an episode on ART sometime.
Yeah, this is news to me again. Not a practicing therapist.
Right. not a real.
Keep my
therapist,
license, not a practicing. I'm a real therapist.
I'm a real therapist.
I did take my test, and I am going to keep my license.
Real. Yeah.
If I ever go back into therapy, I'm going to have to be like, do some research, but it's fine.
No, it's newer. It's basically the person that created it. They were doing EMDR training, and they didn't like it, and so they tried to change it. And EMDR used to be very notorious of like, you must do what this says.
Very rigid. Yeah, you had.
And so they were like, you either need to do the protocol or you need to call it something else. And so she was like, well,
guess I'm calling it,
bitch. I'm calling it something else. So.
I love that. Yeah, that'd be
we'll talk about that sometime.
Yeah.
So let's talk about medications. Talk about being pilled up for the girls. So You're going to maybe get a little SSRI, your selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. These are considered first line. It keeps your girly serotonin in your brain, which helps with mood regulation. So these are the gals like Celexa, Lexapro, Prozac, Zoloft, Paxil. The downfall with these, they do have side effects. They do have a lot of side effects, and they can take a month or more before you notice an effect.
Yeah.
And you typically have to start with a small dose and increase that dose over time. And you have to be careful. You can't stop taking those medications because you can experience rebound symptoms. So always talk to your provider before changing your medication on your own.
Yes, please don't just stop taking your pills.
Please don't stop taking your pills. You may get an SNRI, a serotonin norepinephrine reuptake inhibitor.
Yep.
Also considered first line, however, not good for OCD, which is kind of an anxiety disorder in a way, but we don't have to do that separate.
It's not part, I don't think it's part of the umbrella,
it's not,
but it
it's
should
its own
be,
thing.
in my opinion.
This keeps not only serotonin, but norepinephrine in your brain for happiness. So these are your girls like Cymbalta and Effexor. You probably won't, but maybe get a tricyclic antidepressant. It's not very common, but if you have really significant side effects from the first two, you might get this one. The only one I've ever seen, I looked up a list, the only one I've ever seen is Elavil.
I don't think I've ever even heard of this.
It's pretty rare that you're going to get this one. You might get a benzodiazepine. However, I think this is becoming less common because they are habit forming and there's a high addiction risk.
Yes.
However, they can be used for a short time. So, if it's like going on an airplane, they might give you a little benzo. You cannot use these with older adults because there's an increased fall risk and increased death because it does slow your breathing because it is a sedative. The problem, too, that they're going away from using a benzo is that because it only reduces the physical symptom of anxiety, not the actual anxiety. It just dulls you to it. So these are your Xannies, your Valiums, your Ativans. You may also get a beta blocker. This is, I think, I don't know.
This is like this is off-label, isn't this?
This is off-label, and I think it's becoming more common. So these are like blood pressure medications. They relieve the physical symptoms similar to a benzo, but they don't... they help more treat the anxiety part. And it's not habit forming like a benzo. So Indarel, I think, is the one that I see a lot. You may also get a Boost Bar. I'm not really sure what category a Boost Bar falls under. And then another one I see a lot is an Atarax. Which is basically like a big old Benadryl.
Yeah.
That helps just make you sleepy time. So your pillies get pilled up. Yeah. And that's okay. We support girls that are pilled up around here.
We support the pills.
We support the pills around here. So that's, anxiety.
Love it.
Love it. Love our girl anxiety.
Love it. Live it. Laugh it.
Leave it.
Live, laugh, love.
Live, laugh, love.
Oh, my.
Live, laugh, love. So let's do a little gay or straight edition.
I'm scared.
This is so fucking random.
Oh, I love it.
It's the pasta edition.
Okay.
Pasta. So there are different types of pasta.
Yeah.
And I only went with ones that I knew because
Sure.
there's literally so many types of pasta.
There
out
are.
there.
I'm trying to think of what you'll say, but there's only because I know some, but I don't feel like I know all of them. So we'll find out.
I had written some down, and then I was like, well, I'm gonna Google pasta, and I was like, what is this? I don't know what this is. I did not know what they were. So I only picked ones I know.
Sure.
So the first one, fettuccine.
Straight.
I would say gay. Well,
fettuccine, I would say straight.
Maybe straight.
But I would say angel hair is gay.
Hold on. Don't skip ahead. Hold on. You don't know what I got on here. Rigatoni.
Straight.
Yeah, I think straight too.
Straight.
Mm-hmm. Linguine.
That's gay.
That's gay.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Angel hair, whatever. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Penne.
Bye.
I agree.
Bye.
Mm-hmm. Spaghetti.
Straight.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Lasagna.
Gay.
I would say bye, but yeah.
I was thinking bye, but
bye.
I think I'm going to lean towards a little more towards gay.
Macaroni.
Straight.
Yeah.
Straight. I'm so sorry.
Gnocchi.
Bye.
Oh, I would say gay, but bye. Yeah.
My original thought was gay, but then I was like, we eat gnocchi quite a bit because
Oh,
I love gnocchi.
Are
Yeah,
you kidding me? Yeah.
Justin makes a great hand or
I think I
gnocchi.
could just eat gnocchi without any sauce on it.
Yeah, Justin makes a great homemade gnocchi. It's crazy.
I'll have to make that next time.
Yes.
Ravioli.
Straight.
I think straight too. Rotini.
My first thought is bi, to be honest.
Really?
But then I'm going straight.
I would go gay. So I think
bi
yeah,
is fine.
rotini. And then the last one, tortellini.
I'm gonna go straight.
Oh, I think gay. Tortellini.
I'm torn. I'm a little on the tortellini again.
Tortellini is. I think
I'm
it's
tortellini, but it's.
Cut the cameras. Cut the cameras. Dead ass. We're done. So there you go. Pasta. What do you think? Pasta just in general. I think pasta in general straight.
I think it's if we're talking about like in general, if you're like just pasta, I'm gonna go straight. But yeah, there's.
But then you get your girls like linguine, gnocchi, tortellini.
Yeah.
Come on.
You know what about a good cavatappi?
See, I don't know what that is.
It's like
what is that?
It's kind of like a rotini and a macaroni mixed together. It's like a big thicker noodle that's like a corkscrew. Justin used to exclusively make his mac and cheese with cavatappi for the longest time.
Of course he did.
And see, I would say that's gay.
I think that's gay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think another one. The one that I saw was like farfalle.
Farfalle, the bow ties. The bow ties.
Yeah, I've never seen that. I mean, I've probably seen it, but I don't know how to name.
Yeah, I've only ever called it bow ties, but we get the box from Aldi and it says, I mean, it's farfalle.
I don't know. I don't know Italian.
We just became very offensive to Italians right there.
And canceled. Lost all of our people. All of our listeners in Italy. So sorry.
I'm so sorry. Do we have any listeners in Italy? Do you know?
We do.
We do.
Shout out.
Ciao.
Ciao.
What the hell is that? Hello?
I don't know.
I think
that's Spanish.
Ciao is both, I think.
Yeah.
Justin went to Italy, so he knows.
Oh, good. I know very little. I did Italy. I did Italian on Duolingo for about 1 second. Ragazza. I think that's girl.
I did Spanish in high school, middle school, high school, and college.
I know Spanish.
And Spanish and Italian are very close together.
Yeah.
Not the same, but close.
They have a lot of different. They have some weird. Not weird. They have different rules for some things, but
I think their verb stuff is pretty similar, and some of their words have very overlapped.
But
so
some are out there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I only know Spanish and French, so sorry. So sorry, Italians. So sorry to the entire Italian culture.
Yeah, so sorry. If you're from Chicago, it's Italians.
Italians. Well, if you're from Podunk, Midwest, it's Italian.
Yeah,
everyone always makes fun of me because I say Italian. Like, I want Italian food. They're like, what? They're like, do you call it Itali too?
Yeah.
Maybe I fucking do. Maybe I fucking do.
You and I both have to say, what if I do?
What if I do?
None of your fucking business.
None of your fucking business. So,
well,
on that note,
kids,
it's been great.
It's been
great.
Fantastic.
We don't even know if this will air. The world may have ended at this point.
Yeah.
So
I guess if you're hearing this, then everything went okay.
Everything. Well,
that's not. Maybe Kyle has ascended.
Mark of the Beast. Mark of the Beast.
It's stigmata. Oh my God.
And I'll be like Millie Billigan.
Millie Billigan.
I'd like to talk to Sarah.
Did you ever end up watching that?
No, I didn't.
Oh my God.
I should though.
You should at least watch the first. I think it's within the first 2 episodes. You'll see everything you need to see.
There's too much to watch these days. I don't have time.
You know, it is getting a little bit overwhelming. I've been watching some stuff that I think would make good episodes, but then I'm just like, there's just so much. Like it's you ever get like fatigued when people are like, oh, like you should watch this, and I'm just like, I would love to, but like I just can't anymore. Like I have to really be invested in it. That sounds terrible, but like I have to.
Well, it's like I have a long list of books I'm trying to read, and also I don't want to do anything.
No.
I just want to sit. You know that you remember that commercial back in the day whenever they were saying like don't do drugs?
Yeah.
And it was the girl that's like
melted
and they're like, what happened to Melanie? And it's like, she did weed. That's me right now.
Without the weed? Or with the weed?
No, I've never done weed before. I'm a square. I've never done that.
Me either, so it's fine.
I would probably trip.
I think I would get so paranoid it would almost be comical.
I think I would be diagnosed with a substance-induced anxiety disorder if that happened.
We have friends who are always like they really want me to have weed with them, and I'm just like, I think I would get so paranoid. I would hear like a siren, and I would probably start bawling.
I would probably have substance-induced psychosis after that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then
I'd never come back. Yeah, and I wouldn't. I would never come back. I would never come back.
There goes Kyle.
There he goes. Bye. There you go. Well, anyways.
Well, we went on a tangent.
Well,
we'll see if this aired.
Right.
That took a turn.
At this point, producer Justin probably just has turned off the recording.
It's off.
And then when we stop, he'll be like, "Great job, guys!
Yeah, so
great
good.
job! You guys are doing really great.
Best episode ever." He's
Best
laughing.
episode. Yeah, so it's probably true.
That's true.
Well, on that note, stay tired
and petty.